Tinnitus is not a hearing problem. It's actually much deeper. We know it's not a hearing problem because there are millions of people who have tinnitus who don't have any hearing damage, myself included. I've had more audiograms than I can list, and my hearing is fine for my age. Now, I'm 39 years old, and when you age, you will lose hearing. That's just natural. Now, why is there a ringing in people who have no hearing damage? You have to understand that tinnitus, the perceived ringing, isn't coming from your ears. It is the sound of your central nervous system. That's right. Now, why is your central nervous system making a sound? Because your body is noisy. There's the beat of your heart that you could hear if you went in a soundproof room. You could hear blood swishing through your veins. Your body is extremely noisy. So true silence for a living being is impossible. Here's the thing. You've always had the ability to be aware of the tinnitus. The sound always existed. Most people, here's the crazy thing. Most people, if you took them and put them in a soundproof room, they would develop the tinnitus. Now, notice they wouldn't develop the ringing itself would have always been there, but the perception of it would be. Now they would be able to hear it and they would be bothered by it. That's why, you know, that the ringing is not just coming from the ears. It's coming from somewhere else, the central nervous system. Now, what is the difference from somebody who hears it and is bothered by it to someone who doesn't? Okay, usually, and this is from hundreds of people I've coached. What I've noticed, people who are bothered by their tinnitus tend to overthink. They tend to have pre-existing anxiety conditions. They tend to be deep thinkers. A lot of people I work with tend to be very smart, high achievers. They've achieved a lot in their life. And they all are, I would say, have that in common. So they've already had a history of thinking a lot. Maybe they've been ADHD, like myself. Maybe they've suffered with anxiety in the past. Maybe they're deep people. They're very smart people. I've never worked with anyone who I'm not like impressed by them. Like, wow, you've achieved so much. You've accomplished so much. There tends to be a theme in the people who have tinnitus and are bothered by it. And then there's people like my uncle who have tinnitus and aren't bothered by it at all. A bit more old school, simple man, this is what it is. Well, it's there and it doesn't even bother me. I don't think he's ever had anxiety. I don't think he's ever had anything like that, So when you look at that, you're like, wow, there's a theme. There's something in common. And you start to put the Lego pieces together, if you will, and you realize that tinnitus, okay, the sound is produced by the central nervous system. Anyone can hear it under the right circumstances. The right circumstances play out, whether an ear infection, medication, or anything else, which trigger the tinnitus. It triggers it, and if they have a pre-existing anxiety condition, or OCD, or some sort of thought disorder, or ADHD, or anything like this, they're hyper, they're always thinking, they're always aware, then that can keep them stuck inside the bothersome tinnitus loop. So then when you understand all this, curing a person becomes very simple. Not easy, but simple. You then train the person to change their disposition about the tinnitus. You help them reframe their thoughts. You help them expose themselves to the sound in a controlled environment where they're not freaking out. And they can then go from somebody who's suffering from tinnitus to somebody who is living like me, completely cured, 100%, back in silence. I rarely notice the tinnitus. Sometimes I do, but it's very, very, like 1% of the time. And when I do, I don't suffer from it at all. Yes, my life is 10 times better than what it was before I had tinnitus. And we get the same results for people who use my application, tinnitus.health, if you're interested. And the reason is because I understand why somebody with tinnitus is actually suffering. And when you understand that, you could build systems to, yes, help them recover. And that's what we do at tinnitus.health. So if you're curious, it's only $29 a month. Hit the link in the description or just type in tinnitus.health into a browser. If you want to be a success story and you want to get your life back and potentially travel the world, I don't know what you want to do, but yeah, habituation is real and we help people achieve that every single day. And I would love for you to be a success story. If this video helped you, share it with as many people as you can. Smash the like button. And I do love reading the comments. And until next time, I'll talk to you all later.